Hello there folks, late night recording here as I am trying to finish off. I'm going to be doing this in two different recordings because the second part, the bit about awards, I'm having one or two problems with that I need to check out. Trust me, it'll be grand. But for the time being, and I hope the echo isn't too bothersome, we're going to have a look at a couple of little bits of fun. Awards are fun. They're also a way of getting your reputation up. So I think they're kind of important. But it's interesting to see, track a player's progress or a manager's progress. In the meantime, though, I'm going to have a look at a couple of fun little things that I like to do when I'm playing Football Manager. And that generally is going into the database and looking at odd things, like, for example, injuries. If you apply the filter, you'll see all kinds of different illnesses and problems and issues, and like cruciate or collateral injuries like pulled ligaments. It's actually an interesting way to learn what some of these injuries really are. I don't know about you. Every now and again I hear different things come up on the TV and I'm like, what is that really? But you can see it's 132. We're going to add a classic one, in my opinion, and I call it a bit of a head on him. So we needed to follow the typical way. So it's small a and all lowercase for convenience. So for those of you who never have been in Ireland, a bit of a head on him is basically somebody has a hangover. So again, let's look at this. Let's look at what a bruised hand comes across as. Bruised hand comes across as a bruised hand. So what we need to do is go back to here, make this head on X, put that there, that's the sentence name. And we'll call the name Tired and Emotional after Eamon Dunphy's. It's really late at night, but that motorcycle's gone pretty damn loud. Eamon Dunphy famously was not, let's say, the best in terms of health, in terms of he'd been a bit drunk. So it kind of worked out that being tired and emotional meant, in Irish parlance, being drunk. Bit of a head on him is basically the hangover the following day. So something, let me jump forward. Bruised hand has an occurrence ratio of 1 in every, something like 20% of players have that happen. Match injury percentage, goalkeeper percentage, central defender percentage. Match injury percentage 0. It never happens in the game. It should happen after the game. It should be recurring. I think it's slightly contagious because it's, let's say, something that affects people. We'll call it an internal injury. And what kind of an internal injury? I mean, in my book, it really is illness. So let's put it down as being an illness. Hang on, this becomes a little bit tricky because I can't quite see it. Pardon me for a second till I add it in. And we'll resume where we were. Just make sure, we're all back to goodness. I could have done that. That would be easier. Cause. Let's see, anything interesting there? Lifting away. Impact with player. I mean, an impact with player could lead you to going out and getting a bit of a head on you. That's definitely possible. Wouldn't be violent conduct. Say invalid. Age rule, any. Season, any. That works. Really wish there was a good one we could use. Treatment, not by physio, by isolation. And I generally find those a little bit funny every now and again. It doesn't do too much damage, but it's a fun one. And there's other things like that you can do throughout the database. Create languages, media sources, like for example, one I would always be keen on adding in, because it is actually a pretty interesting take, is add in an Irish Times apply filter. See, no, there's nobody there. Thanks. They already have like 57 different newspapers and all that kind of thing. BBC Radio. Actually, there's one that I could add. Let's add Monday Night Soccer. I don't know if it's still on, because I don't live in Ireland anymore. Hashtag MNS. Call it what it used to be. It's an RTE based thing. Is fake? No. Period is Mondays, funnily enough. And scope is national. Style is broadsheet. And it used to be, type of media, add. It's TV. So we can also add things like, if I could remember the name of the podcast, I could add that. Do they have podcasts? They do have podcasts. So Monday Night Soccer goes, I think it's Soccer Extra. Actually, I'll have to create that, cancel. So that's one created. Let's go back. Monday. Let's duplicate this. I'm going to call it Soccer Extra. Period is, I think it's normally a Tuesday. National broadsheet. This type is a podcast, and so on and so forth. You can create all these, throw them in. I'm not going to do very many on this one because I'm just so fed up with making. I just want to play the game. But that's number 2. One of the things that's apart, been making stadiums and all different kinds of things. You can't make nations, by the way. I've tried. I've been disappointed. Same with regions and stuff like that. Actually, I think regions you can. Nope, you can't. But you can make people, no problem. So I created one. I created my son into the game, which is a terrible idea because of course I put him in the team I wanted to manage. But, we end up not doing that. So hair, I've made dramatic and changing medium hair length because I don't know. As you can see there, he's born in 2014. Hopefully I'll blur out the dates and all his details. I try to, when I'm doing this, keep it as bare as possible. I gave him to Duncannon for the purpose of the test. I'm probably going to cite him up. What's the name of the club? Redmond's Folly. Can't give a non-player. Can give a non. Okay. Interesting. Job. Let's see. Can I do player, non-player? Oh, that's right. I have to do that up here. Player / non-player. That changes everything. Then where am I? Player and we call him chairman. Actually, owner. And player, wherever that is. There we go. Oh, player chairman. Okay, we can give all the details. I'm going to change that club to Redmond's Folly, the team I created for him because he was whining so much. I want a team. I want a team. Can I have a team? So I created this team in the bottom tier called Redmond's Folly. So we'll give him to that. Move to date, blah blah blah. Full-time contract. I did not give him a full-time contract. Youth contract. Scumbag. You can set up all these various different things. It is late. When I go to this, I tend to leave it at the sort of the default. All that says 10s, job preferences. That has, it seems, sorted itself out. Retirements, languages, that kind of thing. We can get to player data. Now, he's more right-footed than he is left. He needs 17 abilities filled in, only 2 so far. Well, we can wait. I'll let that to chance. All that, I don't like to mess with that because I feel like it's cheating to sort of create this super player. Down here, I filled in some details about him as a player. He wants to be a goalkeeper, but I can't put it in because it blanks everything else if I put anything over a 1. Maybe I can get away with a 3. Yep, it blanks everything out. It's goalkeeper or nothing. 1. And so I think I had him as a central midfielder of 8 and attacking of 10. Doesn't really matter. It just kind of gives it an idea of where he'd like to play. You can see defender goes automatically 20. You can only have one attribute of 20. Really? Put him down as 1. He's 5. He's not really very focused. Central preferred position. Blah 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 blah. So on, so forth. Like I said, I don't like to fill these in. I like them to show up of their own accord. Same with mental, physical, blah blah blah. Injuries and bans. Non-player data. Can do something with that, but not really. Non-tactical attributes, tendencies. Interesting. If he was a manager, those would have to be filled in. Fans confidence, board confidence, tactical roles, relationships. He's a big fan of Paulo Dybala and Luke Spencer, so I have them connected in. Favorite clubs, some of the ones he's actually played for. Well, he hasn't really played for Duncannon, but we'll leave it as he's played for Duncannon, as his daddy will hopefully be in charge. Playing history, non-playing history, achievements, all that kind of stuff. Honestly, you could fill it up till the cows come home. So I did. Let me whip away this clever cover. Where did I put the thing? Football Manager. Yeah, close the editor. And you can see a bit of him. So, even though he was born 2014, it automatically defaults to him being 14 years old. And the interesting thing is, you may or may not see over here, this is from that save. This is 2023. He's 14 years old. He was 14 years old when that save started in 2018. So he's going to be 14 till 2028, which is allowing him to get up stats. Don't know if you can see it or not, but his height is meant to be 178 and his weight is 66. So let's close the banner for a moment. Yeah, there you can see that now. So it does take bits and pieces. Having him in there, you can see he's played quite a bit. Duncannon have done well in this particular test or trial. Various attributes and so forth. Information. No favourites, but then again, I'm not scouting because I'm not managing this one. So you can see you can have a little bit of fun with these kind of characters. It takes time to put in these things. I know there are people who put in dozens and dozens of characters and performers, players. I'm not going to be doing all that much. Putting Redmond in will sate my ego on its own. and giving him changeable hair will punish him as well for whatever it is he is about to do. Anyway, I'll hand over to later me, who has by now hopefully figured out how to do the players thing. Okay, see you in a bit. Hello again. Right, I know it's only been seconds, but it's been a full day for me, so I'll try and get through this quickly so it doesn't become like the longest ever YouTube. Either way, the first thing I would say is when you're going to do awards, figure out what you want to have there. Figure out if it's 3, if it's 10, if it's 15. I always put in the managers because the manager of the month, manager there, those things contribute to your reputation. You can see Leinster Senior League South Manager of the Year gives you another 2 points on your reputation. It increases your home reputation, your away reputation, whatever you want to put into it. But it's very simple. You simply go into the database, call up awards, and you can add if there's nothing there already, or if you've built something, you can create it. So let's add a completely spurious one just to show you the process. Let's create, let's see what options we have. Nation is Ireland, search. So let's create a completely spurious Irish competition for the Premier Division. I know the First Division. I'll be deleting this later, so please don't get overly excited about all this thing. Europe. Really, that should come up when you put up Ireland, but that's another matter entirely. We'll say it's got a reputation of how many? We'll say it's big. We'll say it's like 18, which it couldn't be possibly, and these are out of 200. So we'll say 180, and we'll say 100. Okay, we can worry about foreground colors and all that kind of thing on another day. But right now, I really just want to show you what it is. So let's go into the rules. Rewards type. You can see all these different things. Club or nation. Yeah, let's make it a club award. Fair play award, most improved of the season, of the year. Don't need to worry about an announcement day. I never bother. They normally all come out about the same time. First to third place. Run by the Football Association. Based. Yeah, we'll leave that unset. Stats from overall. Allow previous winner. Rarely. So we've got this new creation, the most improved club award. The Better Boys Award. And that's as simple as it is. Now, if you were to do something different with it, looking again at it, we'll change it from that to being a player. We can have player of the year, player of the season, of the competition. And if we leave it invalid, that'll give us player of the month, crazy as it may sound. You can decide who uses these things. You can have like best foreign player or whatever. All these things you can really, really dig on. It's just up to you really what you want to incorporate as being important or otherwise. Okay, so the most improved club award, we'll be ditching that. Right now, once you've figured out your awards and how many awards you want, it's actually really simple. Figure out what you want for your division and go down through it. If you're going to repeat the same awards in all the leagues, this is what I do. Right now, I have created an overall award for the regional, the tier. So, for instance, if you wanted, let's close these off and pull up this Irish regional. If you wanted, you can see regional goals of the month, season, and so on and so forth. But we're going to look at the South. You're locked in. See you in a minute or two. If you want to adjust accordingly, let's see, apply those filters. Yeah, there's the 9 we want. These are I have the big regional ones, high reputation, and so on and so forth. And then I have the individual ones for each division. So for example, once I've gotten one, I can tweak and twist to make it fit what I want. So let's take this, the golden shoe for Leinster Senior League South. I haven't done the Munsters ones yet, so I've hit duplicate. I'm going to dial in Munster Senior League. We don't need a South because it's just all the Munster. And that's MSL. No need for the S. Change this. And Munster Senior League Premier Division. And all of a sudden we have the first of the ones we need for Munster. And go down through that list. It really is very simple. It's just a case of getting into the process of doing it. So pick the one, duplicate, replace the words, remove the ones you don't want. And then you might want to decide, sometimes I decide, okay, this is for Wexford, so I want it to have a lower reputation because I feel the Wexford League should be weaker than the Dublin League, or whatever. It's very easily done. Just repeat the process, tweak and twist accordingly, and everything should be hunky-dory. So while I continue to do this, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it all made sense to you. I'm continuing to do this for another little while. I have been doing a lot of testing. I actually ran a game 20 years into the future, and it's mostly there. I'm still fixing little bits and pieces. One thing I've noticed for reals is Cork City are kind of super overpowered. They, in the particular seed I ran, now it's different every time, obviously, but that last one, man oh man, they were regularly qualifying for the Europa League and eventually for the Champions League group stages. And more than that, they weren't just regularly qualifying, they were getting through to the knockouts in the Europa. And at the point I left looking at it, Ireland had 2 teams going directly into the European Champions League, qualifying for Champions League. So that's crazy if you know Ireland. But that's what can happen if you put in the time and so on and so forth. Again, there's a lot of luck in these things. But, if you're a good manager, if you take a good team or get eventually to a good team and pull them to the top, you can do that too. I believe in you. Anyway, theoretically, the next one I do kind of along here. I'm hoping to do it within the week. Where am I at this? It might be next week before I get anything up. Is I actually want to start playing a game. I have been dying for this for ages. I know I've been playing other games and what have you. But obviously, this is my annual game of the year, if you like. This is the one that I'm always anticipating and working hard towards. We're so close to getting to it that, in theory, if I really stayed up all night, I could be playing by the morning. Actually, I could be playing a lot sooner than that. It's just I'm a little bit tired, so I probably won't. Which means I've got travel tomorrow and the day after. We'll see. Anyway, any ideas, any thoughts, any suggestions, anything you want to know about, please, as always, write them in below, and I'll be only too happy to talk about it. This is basically it. This, I'm hoping, is most of what you need to be able to create a monster big pyramid for whatever league you want. I always go for Ireland because, this accent doesn't grow on trees. But, if you want to create this for Iran, for Iceland, for the Islamic Republic of Turkmenistan, you go for it. If I can learn how to do this stuff, and as you can see, I'm far from the most competent computer person of all time, then you can too. Thanks a million for watching. Hope some of these have been able to give you some help and some advice on how to go about this. It's, for me, in some ways, making this is more fun than the actual playing of it. But ultimately, playing it and knowing it works as I want it to, or at least as close to as I want it to as possible, that's the gem. Right, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I should do it the easy way. I have 6 tiers of regional leagues to do. I have a ton to do. Hope this helped. Thanks a million. Good luck. See ya. Bye.